Well, hello again from the Capitol. Although the weather would say that it's mid-April, it's actually just the fourth week of the legislative session. And the big news this week is going to be budget targets. The legislature breaks down the state budget into 7 budget subcommittees responsible for putting together the numbers and the particular line items for each subject area of the state budget. The budget subcommittees are as follows: Administration and Regulation, Ag and Natural Resources, Economic Development, Education, Health and Human Services, Justice Systems, and Transportation and Infrastructure. Now, it's important to note that the Transportation and Infrastructure Budget Subcommittee does not actually make funding decisions related to road and bridge construction. That's done by the Department of Transportation Commission. The legislature doesn't have any control over that. The total of the 7 budget subcommittees is not the total spending that the state does every year. There will also be a standing appropriations bill, which are appropriations that are in the Iowa Code that occur every year without legislative action. And there are also supplemental bills. Last week we were finally able to get the National Guard tuition assistance bill to the governor's desk, and we'll also consider this week a supplemental to the Department of Corrections, which I think is great for public safety. Now, the legislature uses the Revenue Estimating Conference's number to determine what the amount of spending can be for the next year. In December, preceding the legislative session, the Revenue Estimating Conference, which is made up of 3 nonpartisan folks, makes a recommendation as to what the revenue will be for the next fiscal year. And by law, the legislature is required to spend no more than 99% of that limitation. The December 2011 Revenue Estimating Conference met and decided that there would be about 3%, just over 3% growth for fiscal year 13. So that's the number that the legislature will use as it puts together a budget for the year. So make sure to pay attention at the end of the week. The budget targets indicate a chamber's priorities. The House will probably have different priorities than the Senate. And I'll make sure in subsequent video updates to give you my take on whether or not the priorities match up with the priorities that I hear from Iowans. Next week, I plan on going into a little bit more depth on the state's balance sheet, which should give you a better idea about the total state spending picture. Have a great day.